Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. His Moon, His Prisoner. Episode 7. Chapter 30a. Ch 30a. Bella's P.O.V. No. Lily shouted again, trying to open the door, but it was still locked. Go or I will beat you to death and Bob will still trap you in that condition. So be a good girl and go with him. Oliver yelled with evil contentment in his eyes. I could feel Lily trembling in fear behind me, terrified by the situation unfolding before us. No. She won't do any of that. Give me the keys or this will end poorly for you, I warned them and they all laughed. You are coming with me. Oliver yelled, charging towards me. I shoved him away, but then they all came at me together. Lily, go, find the key, I instructed, kicking one of them. They were all drunk, they were still men. Even though I knew how to fight and was a werewolf, there were 4 of them and only one of me. No! Lily screamed, making me look up. I saw that she was in Bob's hold as he was attempting to drag her towards Oliver's room. Lily was not going quietly with Bob, she fought him any way she could, clawing his skin with her nails, kicking her legs, hitting him with her arms, trying to bite him, any and everything to keep him from taking her into that room. I was distracted for a second by her ferociousness and it cost me as I received a slap across the face. When I registered the pain, it felt like I had been shot, but this wasn't like any gunshot wound I had ever felt before. It was then that I felt an electrical current rushing through me. I looked up to see that Oliver had used a stun gun on me. I collapsed to the ground, unable to move. Ha! She is really strong. How can such a little girl be so strong? It's a good thing they gave me a stun gun. Oliver triumphantly shouted, throwing the stun gun on the floor. He was a mixture of pissed off because this little girl had just beat him up and victorious as he had bested me. But I was shocked to hear that someone had given him a stun gun. Who would do that? That meant that someone knew I wasn't a human, they knew that I was a werewolf. Oliver picked me up from the floor. I badly wanted to run and save Lily as I could hear her screaming. However, I was not in any condition to even save myself at the moment, never mind her. Oliver threw me down on Lily's bed, closing the door behind him, as tears began to slip from my eyes. I had no idea what type of weapon he had used on me, and it was definitely not a normal stun gun, but I was unable to even open my mouth to shout for help. Let me go, I muttered with my mouth shut. What? Let you go? Are you joking? Do you even know how hard I was when I heard Lily talk on the phone, saying that you were coming over on her birthday? I faked that I was leaving the city for a day and she stupidly believed me. There hasn't been a single day that I haven't jerked off to your picture on my phone. I also came to learn that you are an orphan, so no one will notice that you are missing. No one will come looking for you. From now on you are going to live here, this is your house, and your duty will be to please me and only me. Oliver revealed his revolting plan to me as he poured himself yet another a glass of wine, gulping it down in one go. No, please, let me go, I repeated as he was removing his shirt and climbed onto the bed next to me. Now be a good girl. I really don't want to have to beat you, a scar will not look good on your beautiful face. I want to use you daily, so don't push my buttons. Now I'm going to take my time and enjoy you this first time, Oliver explained, tearing the front of my top. I sobbed even harder as he was really going to r*e me and I was not even able to protect myself. Lena wasn't answering me because of the electric shock. Unexpectedly Oliver grabbed onto my hair and bit my neck, making me howl out in pain. Lily's p.o.v Bob. Let me go. I shouted as he pinned me to Oliver's bed, but I wasn't alone in here with just Bob. Oliver's two other friends were in here as well, standing near the door watching everything. Shut up! Bob yelled, slapping me across the face. I felt the burning sensation on my cheek and cried out. What? Crying? Scared? Where is your bodyguard who protected you the other day? Bob shouted, slapping me again. I tried to escape, only to get slapped again. I am sorry for that day, please let me go. I begged, backing away from him, trying to shout for help. Are you a virgin, Lily? Bob asked. I held on to my clothes tightly as I watched him undressing. You? I asked, are you a virgin or has your bodyguard, you? Bob shouted, striking me again. No, he didn't, I am a virgin, please, let me go, I replied, wrapping my arms around my body, but they all laughed at me. Oh baby, that's too bad because this is now going to be really painful, for you, Bob warned while pressing his body against mine and biting my lip. I was continuously trying to move my head away to avoid his forced kiss, but his strength was much more than my own. I was able to get one of my hands away from his and reached around to the bedside table, grabbing something, anything I could use as a weapon. I hit him across the head, leading to him letting me go, but it was only a glass that I had hit him with, and although it had shattered, it didn't hurt him. You! Bob screamed as his face turned red with fury. You too, grab her hands and feet. I will her now and then you two can each have your turn, Bob ordered the other two as they climbed on the bed, grabbing me before I could even think to move. I shouted and screamed when they grabbed me, but their grip tightened on my body. Let go! Cover that mouth! People will hear her scream! Bob yelled at his friends. Just as one of them took his hand from my leg and was about to cover my mouth, I brought my foot up, kicking Bob in the face. This made his friends lose their grip on my wrist. I quickly took advantage of it, jumping off the bed and ran for the bedroom door. But Bob grabbed my ankle, tripping me, which led me to fall to the floor. I struggled with him once again as he began to drag me back. That was when the bedroom door burst open, revealing Leo. He kicked Bob away from me, causing him to fly back, slamming his head against the wall. Bob's head was bleeding from the force he had hit the wall and had been knocked unconscious right then and there. The other two men lost their gall when they witnessed this and tried to run. However, Leo's eyes had turned into that of an animal as he lunged at them, smashing them down to the floor and repeatedly kicking their manhood so many times they passed out from the pain. Leo then proceeded to walk over to Bob and do the exact same thing to him despite the fact that he was already unconscious. Leo guaranteed that all three men were useless for any other woman and would hopefully never try to do something like this again. Stop! I shouted, just as Leo brought forth his claws about to kill them. Leo looked back at me as I was sitting on the floor, crying non-stop, and he ran to me. Shhhh, it's okay. I am here. You're okay. I've got you, Leo cooed, cupping my face, but I couldn't stop shaking. I shook my head as I was still looking at Bob in fear. Don't look at him, okay? Concentrate on me. I want to see those gorgeous dark eyes locked on mine. He will not be getting up, do you understand? He will not harm you, Leo promised while looking deep into my eyes, making me look away from Bob. I nodded my head. At that moment Leo pulled me into a warm comforting hug, tucking my head under his chin as I wrapped my body around him like a baby koala, clutching the back of his shirt with my trembling hands. Bella is in danger, Oliver is, with her, he is, I managed to stutter out into Leo's chest, sobbing uncontrollably, but he just gently rubbed circles on my back as I soaked the front of his shirt. Don't worry about Luna Bella, Alpha Asher is here to protect her, Leo assured me. I jumped when I heard a loud bang as Asher had kicked in the door of my bedroom and saw what Oliver was doing to Bella. I just hope he hadn't been too late. Bella's P.O.V. tears were flowing freely down my cheeks as I sobbed, but I wasn't able to move any part of my body as he was forcing his kisses on me. That was when there was a loud bang and Oliver was thrown off of me. Oliver fell hard onto the floor, screaming out in pain. Finally having a clear field of vision, I was able to look up. I saw that it was Asher who had come to my rescue. I had never been so happy to see him. I watched as Oliver glared up from the floor at Asher. I knew that he couldn't see him properly due to how dark it was in here, compounded with the fact that he now wasn't able to fully open his eyes due to pain. Who are you? Oliver angrily shouted at Asher. But then Asher stepped forward. Oliver's eyes met with those of Asher's wolf. Oliver quickly stumbled to his feet in horror as Asher's eyes shone out of the darkness. I am her mate! Asher roared, growling loudly at Oliver. Oliver flinched back as he watched Asher's claws elongate. I was still lying on the bed, unable to move or do anything. All I was able to do was watch the interaction. Oliver was about to try and escape when Asher swung out at him, his claws scratching Oliver's face and nearly pulling the skin off like it were a mask. Oliver held his face in pain, but Asher brought his hand back, sinking his claws into Oliver's stomach, stabbing him up under the ribs, hitting as many organs as possible. I knew that Asher planned to kill Oliver. I could also see that Oliver was in a lot of pain. There was copious amounts of blood starting to puddle on the floor from his wounds. But apparently Asher was not satisfied yet as he came up behind Oliver and stabbed his claws into his back, causing him to fall to the floor as life was slowly leaving his body in the pools of gore. Asher was breathing angrily hard and fast as he watched at Oliver's dying body. I had been trying to move and I was finally able to, a little bit. Just as Asher was about to have mercy and deliver a killing blow to Oliver, I fell off the bed. Asher looked over at me and walked towards me. Don't kill him, I managed to stammer, holding onto Asher's legs for support. My ripped top was lying on the floor. Asher glanced at my top then back at me, noticing that I was only wearing a bra. Don't move, Asher said, touching my chest where Oliver had hit me with the stun gun. Asher's P.O.V. I gazed into her teary eyes, and although she was no longer crying, her whole body was shuddering. That had terrified my mate, my strong independent mate. He had hurt her, and she was mine. I will kill him, I growled. I was about to get up when Bella clutched my hand tightly, shaking her head. Don't, Bella urged. I closed my eyes in fury. I took my jacket off, pulled Bella up a little, then proceeded to wrap my jacket around her. But yet again she wouldn't obey me and was trying to wriggle out of my hold. "This girl," I muttered, considering her disobedience. When I took a moment to study her eyes, I saw that she was still petrified. Bella slowly closed her eyes as she fainted. I scooped her up in my arms, resting her head on my chest, and cuddled her on my lap as I sat down on the bed. The scent on my jacket and me holding her should help comfort her enough so that she can relax. "Alpha, how is Luna?" Leo asked, mind-linking me. I looked down at Bella, realizing that even though her eyes were closed, she still had tears streaming down her face. "She is fine," I replied, wiping her tears away with my fingers. "What about Lily?" I asked in return, mind-linking him. "She is fine. I am standing in the bathroom door, while she is washing her face. Her hands are shaking horribly, but she has finally stopped crying," Leo answered. "I smell blood. Did you kill him?" Leo inquired. My eyes turned red in anger as I looked at Oliver, who was lying in a pool of his own blood on the floor. "No, he is not dead." "Bella stopped me," I angrily responded. I could feel that Ross was trying to come forward so that he could finish the job. "Ah!" Bella moaned in pain as more tears left her eyes. I looked away from Oliver, focusing on Bella, my fingers going to her tears as I brushed her lips that were moaning in pain. I pulled her body closer to mine, giving her the warmth of my body, and leaned down to her face, kissing away her tears. "Shhh, sleep," I whispered. Asher's p.o.v. 15 minutes had passed and I was still sitting in the same position with Bella in my lap. Though I was still keeping in contact with Leo, through the mind link so that neither Bella or Lily would wake up. Bella had come out of her faint for a few minutes before falling into a deep sleep due to exhaustion. She had even stopped trembling and crying, but the stun gun seemed to have broken her. I gently brushed the hair back from her face, taking stock of the bite mark that Oliver had placed on her neck. Its very existence made me furious. I looked over to Oliver's still though alive body. Ross was desperately trying to take control, but there was something different about that hateful. I sniffed the air. Oliver didn't have a human aroma, in fact he didn't have a scent at all. I sniffed harder and could tell that he was wearing some kind of spray or perfume that covered his scent. Otherwise Bella would have smelled him the moment he had first come into the house. She would have sensed the danger he represented. But as he was wearing that scent blocker, for lack of a better term, she wouldn't have been able to smell or sense anything at all, and that was how he was able to catch her off guard. How had he gotten his hands on something like that? No normal human like him could have obtained that type of thing, so where had it come from? There was only one way he could have gotten that stuff. David's p.o.v. I knew something was wrong the moment Asher and Leo bolted out of the store, but they were so quick I didn't have time to react. So I tracked their scents, which led me to a house. The front door of the house had been broken down. Now I knew for a fact that I was at the right address, plus I could smell Lily and Bella's scents here too. I walked into the house and the first room I came across was a man's, but Lily and Leo were in here. Lily was asleep on the bed, but she looked terrified and Leo looked angry beyond belief. There were 3 men lying on the floor, all of them were unconscious and beaten. What happened? Is she all right? I asked, mind-linking Leo, not wanting to wake Lily up, and he nodded. She's all right, just sleeping now. I've got everything handled here, but you should check on Asher, he's upstairs, Leo replied, mind-linking me. I nodded my head before leaving the room, going upstairs to the next room. When I went in, Asher was sitting on the bed with Bella asleep in his lap. The room was dark, Asher's wolf eyes were clearly visible, his eyes were fixed on a man's figure lying on the floor. I heard Asher growl, recognizing that he was losing control of his wolf. But when I glanced over to figure out what he was staring at, I noticed Bella's torn top on the floor and I knew exactly what had happened here. Who is he? Mind-linking Asher, but his eyes were locked on our Luna now, who was thankfully safe in his arms. He's Lily's step-brother, Oliver. Get rid of him and the other three, Asher commanded, and rather than asking any more questions I did as he asked. I gathered I now knew as Oliver, much to my surprise he was still alive. I gave Asher a completely baffled look, but he just shook his head. I knew not to ask any further as Ross has already been pushed to his limit tonight in a number of ways, and I had no desire for him to view my curiosity as a challenge to his power. I tossed Oliver's body into the hallway, then went to the room where Lily and Leo were, gathering the other three men up and throwing them into the hallway with Oliver. Lily was awake now, but she was so petrified that she was sobbing. I watched as Leo sat on the bed, trying to hold her hand. She flinched away from him at first, scared of his touch. But Leo managed to calm her down, helping her to realize that he wasn't going to hurt her. It was hard for him to earn her trust, but I think that when she saw me it put her at ease a little, what with me being a teacher at her school and everything. Plus she knew that Victoria would have my balls if I let anything bad happen to her or Bella under my watch. Finally Lily calmed down enough to understand that Leo wouldn't hurt her, and she even let him hold her hand, even though she still flinched a little when he did it. When Leo turned to me I could see that he looked more than angry at what had happened to his mate. But as he returned his gaze to Lily, who had fallen asleep, he couldn't take his eyes off her. I heard movement out in front of the house and I knew who it was straight away. Alpha, they are here, I said, mind-linking both Asher and Leo. Third person P.O.V. Asher gently moved Bella from his lap, laying her down on the bed, but when he tried to move away from her he was pulled back. Asher looked down at his shirt to find that Bella was clutching it tightly like a little baby would their mother. Bella doing this only made Asher's heart beat faster, his eyes were shining with emotion. Asher leaned down to her lips as he was about to kiss her. He abruptly stopped and closed his eyes tightly, trying to control Ross. Do it, Ross growled, and Asher opened his eyes. She is sleeping and has been through too much, Asher replied, slowly unwrapping her hand from his shirt. Asher swiftly moved away from her before he did something that he should never do while she was sleeping and couldn't give consent to. Asher closed the door behind him as he left the bedroom, walking into the hallway. Leo heard what David had said through the mind link and gently let go of Lily's hand before running outside the room, just in time to see the two Hunter brothers from school walking in through the front door, with a group of hunters. The Hunter brothers were carrying large guns with them, each loaded with silver bullets. Oh, I can see how badly they wanted to get to their mates. Look at how they broke down the door, one of the Hunter brothers taunted. Leo growled, but the brothers just smiled when they heard him. Oh dear, it seems like this big dog didn't like my brother's words, the other brother jeered, mocking Leo. The brothers thought that by calling him a dog Leo would attack them. But neither David nor Leo moved an inch as Asher had already ordered them not to. "What's wrong with you dogs?" one of the hunter brothers mocked, laughing loudly, just as more than 7 other hunters came into the house. The hunters had come well prepared, with not only guns and knives in their hands, they also had electric rods too. "So, it was your plan to kill our alpha because he killed your murderous parents," David remarked with a sweet smile that did not match the situation at all. The hunter brothers frowned, gritting their teeth in anger. "Yes. Where is your alpha? Call him out. I will not only kill him with a silver bullet, I will tear his body in two and rip out his heart like he did to our parents." One of the brothers screamed. At that moment they all heard footsteps that were climbing down the stairs. "He is coming, beware of him. He is a monster," the hunter brothers declared to the rest of the hunters, stepping back in fear as they heard his footsteps treading closer. "So, this is the weapon that you gave to that low-life vermin so he could attack my female?" Asher inquired in a deathly cold voice, holding the stun gun while pressing the buttons, watching as the current came out of it. David and Leo were both aghast to see the device. They couldn't believe that it had been used on Bella's body, making her paralyzed, and after that she was going to be recovered if Asher had not intervened. This wasn't a normal stun gun, it was one that was specially made for werewolf hunters so that they could inflict as much pain as possible to a werewolf. The werewolf would become paralyzed, but they would still feel every ounce of pain that was being inflicted on them. "Yeah, do you like it, or rather did she like it?" one of the brothers sneered. Asher looked at him expressionlessly. "I came to know that she is your mate, that means she is half of you. She is just as dirty and sinister as the monster you are. She will also be killed, but don't worry, I know she is your mate, so she will follow you to hell about 2 minutes after your death," one of the hunter brothers needled, pulling out his electric rod. "Sorry to disappoint you, but I plan to live a lot longer and kill as many of your kind as I can," Asher declared, throwing the stun gun away and wiping his hands. "Live? Really?" the brothers both replied, laughing. "Yes, but I want to have the honor of sending you to your parents in hell first," Asher disclosed, smiling evilly as Leo and David did the same, as the hunter brothers boiled in anger. "How dare you insult my parents?" the brothers shouted and shot towards Asher. But Asher quickly dodged him and the fight began. While fighting, Asher, Leo, and David managed to bring the brothers out of the house and into the backyard, which wasn't very big, but it was big enough for what they needed. Bullets were flying everywhere as they were all trying to hit Asher and only him. Just as one of the hunters was about to fire his gun, David successfully whipped the hunter back and broke his gun in two. The fight was taking place in a community area, inhabited by humans, so none of them could shift into their wolves. At that moment the hunters noticed that 10 men had appeared and they were members of Asher's pack. The hunter brothers stopped when they saw that they were surrounded by danger. They now knew that Asher had been prepared for them beforehand. Leo took advantage of this opportunity and caught one of the hunter brothers, nearly strangling him to death. The other hunter brother panicked when he saw what was happening to his brother and raised his gun, pointing it at Asher. Did you know everything?" the brother asked. He was aiming the gun at Asher, but his hands were shaking severely as he looked at the rest of his hunter team, lying on the floor injured and nearly dead. Asher didn't have to attack any of them as Leo and David didn't let any of them near him. Suddenly David went inside the house and came back out running to Asher to give him the stun gun that had been used on Bella. Asher switched it on and off, watching the high-current weapon in his hand, then charged at one of the Hunter brothers, gabbing him with the stun gun in his chest. The same place that it had been used on Bella. The Hunter couldn't escape or even fall to the ground as Asher continued to use the stun gun on him, not only on his chest, but his back, stomach, arms, and even his face. Asher unleashed all of his pent-up anger on the Hunter. Once he was satisfied with his achievements, he kicked the Hunter hard in the chest, causing him to collapse in a heap on the ground. No one had dared to interrupt Asher while he had been dealing with the Hunter in his own way. The other Hunter brother rolled him over on the ground, trying to get a look at his brother. His eyes widened when he saw his half-dead, brutalized body, lying on the ground. "John!" the brother shouted, crawling over to him with difficulty as Leo had broken one of his legs and one of his arms moments before. "John! Wake up!" the brother shouted and checked his brother breathing. His breathing was too slow and shallow. He tried to check his heartbeat, but there was no hope for his survival. The remaining brother began to cry over the condition of slowly dying his brother. "Didn't he die?" David asked the brother, then looked back to see Asher with anger-filled eyes. "You killed my parents and now my brother is also dying. I will kill you!" the brother screamed, pointing a gun towards Asher. But Asher just stood in his place unaffected. Asher didn't even try to move because before the brother could even fire his gun, Asher's pack members had pinned the brother down on the floor and dragged him away. All this time the pack members had only been standing there as Asher had not given them any orders. However, as soon as Asher waved his hand in the air indicating to take the Hunters away, they jumped into action. "Now Alpha Gabriel will decide their fate," David said, glaring at the other Hunter brother who was just staring at Asher. Asher kicked the brother in the face, making him bleed and releasing more of his anger. Asher wanted to deal with them himself, but because he was only the future Alpha and not the Alpha of the pack, he could not kill them. Alpha Gabriel was well aware of the Hunters and wanted to personally handle this matter. Leo's P.O.V. As soon as the Hunters had been handed over to the pack members, Asher, David, and I took Lily and Bella back to David's place. After such a big incident, none of us wanted to leave Bella and Lily in that house alone, especially knowing the fact that the front door was broken, making it even more unsafe for them. Due to David's home being the closest and the added bonus that he now shared it with Victoria, we thought it appropriate to bring the girls there. David's home was much larger than Lily's house. Actually, it was a huge bungalow. Upon arriving at David's home, I took Lily into one of the bedrooms and laid her down, while Asher took Bella to a different room to do the same. David had been constantly calling Victoria as he knew that she had gone to the pack house to meet with my mother and Alpha Gabriel. He was calling her every 3 minutes, but not once had Victoria answered the phone. Victoria was ignoring David after what he had done to her in the past. I could only hope that the same future did not await me with Lily, as it looked like it was driving David mad. I left the bedroom so that Lily could sleep and walked outside to meet Asher and David in the garden. It had taken almost 20 minutes for us to get here. Now we were discussing what we were going to do next. There was suddenly a loud bang. It sounded like someone had fallen over or something. We all looked back to the house. It was in that moment that I panicked, realizing that it was Lily that had fallen. I ran into the house with David following close behind, leaving Asher in the backyard mind-linking Alpha Gabriel. At that moment Lily began screaming. It echoed throughout the entire house, making Asher run quickly inside joining us. He stood next to David in the doorway to the bedroom. I watched as Asher popped his head round the doorframe to see what was going on, but he looked shocked with what he found. Lily was sitting on the floor near the corner of the bed, with her arms wrapped around her body, trembling in terror. I stood far away from her as every time I got closer to her she would scream hysterically as if I was going to hurt her. "Lily, it's me, Leo," I said, trying to get closer so that I could comfort her. I tried to convince her that I wasn't going to harm her, but she was continually crying, refusing to let me come closer. She must have become even more nervous when she woke up and found herself here, as this place was unknown to her. I knew that it would freak her out because this wasn't her room or her house, but I couldn't let her stay at that house any longer. When I brought her here she was unconscious, sleeping, but now she was here, alone, and surrounded by men. "No! Stay away from me! Don't come any closer to me!" Lily screamed, panicking every time I got closer to her. Even if my shadow got near to her she was yelling her head off and clutching at her clothes and body even more. "Back off! She's trying to get away from you. She's scared, and without Victoria here I don't know how we can help her." David worriedly mind-linked me, and he was right. She didn't want me anywhere near her, but I would never hurt her, I would never do what they had tried to do. Okay, I am not going to come near you, but please stop crying, okay?" I begged, backing up. Seeing me here caused her to cry even more, her fear was only growing. I stepped back from her, looking into her eyes as I listened to her heart beating fast. At the same time I realized that if I tried to get closer to her she could end up harming herself out of fear. Lily's p.o.v. I started sobbing even harder when I saw David and Asher standing by the door with Leo standing in front of me. It reminded me of Bob and the other two men. I was so petrified, thinking that they were going to do the same as what those three men had tried to do to me. "Why am I here? What are you all going to do with me?" I asked, crawling back even further and holding onto the edge of the bed for dear life, but now there was nowhere else for me to go. I was trapped. "No one is going to do anything to you. This is David's home. I will not harm you, look at me carefully. It's me, Leo, have I ever harmed you?" Leo asked me softly. I tried to force myself to look at him, but I could only shake my head. "No, go away, leave me alone, you are one of them. You are going to do the same," I screamed, not ready to believe him as I wailed in despair. Leo's p.o.v. My wolf was becoming restless, but at the same time he was getting angry at seeing Lily's behavior. She wasn't ready to believe me. It was painful to think that she thought of me as one of those men who had tried to do that to her. I clenched my fist, trying to control my rage, as this was in no way her fault. This had been done to her. If I lost control now, it would only scare her further. I knelt down in front of her, but still stayed a fair distance away and gazed into her eyes. "Okay, I won't come any closer to you unless you ask me to, but I won't leave you either. I won't leave this room, I promised, sitting there. I knew I was being stubborn, but my wolf and I refused to leave her alone in this condition. We both knew that if we left the chances were high that she would harm herself. "You guys need to leave, move away from the door. Your presence is triggering her as there were 3 men in the room with her. She isn't able to think clearly, she thinks we are going to asterisk her like they tried to, I explain, mind-linking both Asher and David. Thankfully they did as I had asked. We need a woman to help Lily understand that we aren't going to hurt her, David reprimanded, mind-linking me, and he was right, but I still wasn't going to leave her. Victoria's P.O.V. I was in the pack house when I came to learn about the hunters as well as the incident with Bella and Lily. I rushed out of the pack house in search of Lily and Bella. When I checked my phone I saw that David had messaged me, and I learned that Asher, Leo, and David had taken Bella and Lily back to David's home. I drove as fast as I could, arriving at David's home in record time. I jumped out of the car, ran up to the front door, and burst in, meeting David and Asher straight away, who were standing in the hallway. "Where are the girls?" I asked, taking off my sandals and throwing my purse on the couch in the living room. Asher and David didn't have a chance to answer as I heard Lily sobbing, and I figured out exactly where she was. I went straight to the room. When I got inside the doorway I saw that Lily's condition was horrible. Leo was sitting on the floor a few feet away from her, watching her. I could sense that his wolf was going crazy because he was not able to get near his maid to comfort her. "Leo, let me take over the situation here. Please leave the room, as being around any man is only going to make her more afraid," I tried to convince Leo, but he shook his head. "No, I'm staying right here, I need to be here," Leo replied, not taking his eyes off Lily, who was growing more and more petrified by his presence. "Please believe me, if you want to see her like she was before as soon as possible, then you have to leave this room and put her in my hands. Trust me," I urged, placing my hand on Leo's shoulder. Leo looked at me before glancing back at Lily, who was trembling in terror due to his presence. He understood my point. Leo got up off the floor, careful not to scare Lily further with any sudden movements, and looked right at me. "Okay, I trust you, but I want her back. Make her right, like she was before any of this happened, at any cost. Don't let her harm herself," Leo commanded, and I smiled at him while nodding. Now I understood why he was still in the room. Leo looked at Lily one last time before leaving the room, closing the door behind him. I looked at Lily and started to slowly walk towards her. "Lily, it's me, Victoria," I said, speaking slowly as I got closer to her. Lily wasn't scared of me, she was just looking at me, sobbing as she let me get closer to her. I sat down next to her on the floor without breaking eye contact. "Everything is okay," I assured her, placing my hand on Lily's trembling one. Lily was crying loudly. I knew that Leo could hear it because he was standing in the hall outside with David and Asher. Lily collapsed into my arms and I held her tightly, letting her cry as much as she wanted for as long as she wanted. She was crying like a child in my arms. "They touched me, Bob, tried to rape me, Oliver sold me to Bob," Lily sobbed. She was crying so hard she was unable to speak properly. The grip she had on her dress and her body language spoke of her fear. "I know, sweetie, I know," I comforted, softly stroking her hair. "I feel dirty," Lily whimpered, scratching at her skin. "But you won against them, right? You didn't let him do anything bad to you. You saved yourself and you are safe now, everything is going to be all right now," I reminded her, lifting Lily's face so that she was looking at me. Lily's P.O.VC, I am here with you, and the most important thing is that Leo is with you as well. He is your mate, Victoria said. The word mate snapped my attention to her and stopped me crying as I listened to her. The whole world can and will betray you, it will leave you broken. But Leo will be the one who will always be with you, like a shield, like how he was today. Don't you think that's right? Victoria asked, smiling at me while wiping my old tears away. I was glad that Victoria was here, that I was able to listen and understand her. At this time you need to handle yourself, you need to win against your fear, which is only in your mind. Don't let it dominate you. Yes, I can understand that what happened is unforgivable and traumatic, but at least you can try, right? Victoria asked and I blinked, looking down at my hands. Victoria was right, this fear was in my mind. Now I was safe. But I had hurt Leo so much by saying that he would do the same as what Bob had done to me, especially when Leo was the one who saved me. I know it's hard and it will be difficult for a while, but the more you cry the more pain he will be in. You will both suffer even more, Victoria explained, hugging me again, and I nodded. Leo is standing right outside that door, waiting for you. It is up to you to choose what you want to do, Victoria whispered to me. Victoria got up from the floor and made me sit on the bed, smiling at me, helping to make me comfortable. She went over to the bedroom door, and just as she opened it my eyes met with Leo's, who was standing right outside, just like Victoria had said. She walked out of the room, placing her hand on Leo's shoulder, then he slowly walked in, leaving the door open. He slowly walked closer to me and I wasn't crying or screaming in fear like the last time he had come in the room. I was sitting at the head of the bed where the pillows were, and Leo sat on the edge at the foot of the bed, not too far away from me, but not too close either, as he knew I was still fearful of him. When I was researching werewolves and packs, all that I read had said that they can sense fear, and with how scared I was I knew that he could clearly sense mine. We sat in complete silence, as neither of us said a word to each other. Leo was just staring at me, like he was unsure of how to start the conversation. "Are you okay?" Leo quietly asked, breaking the ice, and I nodded. "If you need anything then let me know," Leo implored, and again I only nodded my head. I wasn't saying a word, but I could see it all over Leo's face that he was feeling anxious. Victoria's words echoed through my head, reminding me that my fear was hurting him, it was making him feel anxious and worried. "Leo's P.O.V. water," Lily said suddenly, causing me to blink my eyes a few times before I understood that she was asking me for water. She was talking to me. "Okay, just wait," I told her. I ran towards the table where the jug of water was. Lily was watching my face to make sure I was not anxious now as she talked. I came back with the glass of water using my wolf speed and quickly gave it to her. Lily took the glass from me, looking into my eyes. I was still keeping sufficient distance with her. She took a few sips and I saw that her hands were still shaking a little, but she was trying to control it and not crying. "I won't do anything to you," I tried to reassure her again. Lily looked up at me. I don't think she could help the tears that escaped from her eyes as she nodded a little at me. "I promise," I vowed to her, smiling and moving a little closer to her. I slowly reached my hand up and wiped her tears away, but instead of flinching like last time, she only closed her eyes. Third person P.O.V. As Victoria left the room that Lily was in and came out into the hallway, she saw Asher and David. Asher was calmly sitting on the couch, his face expressionless, while David was standing on the other side, leaning on the wall near the window. Victoria looked at his eyes that were focused on the moon. The light was making him more attractive, making her heart falter. After marking him, she could not force herself to even look at him properly once, but right now she couldn't seem to help herself. David had noticed Victoria's heartbeat and looked away from the moon to gaze at her. "Victoria," David whispered, upon seeing her. Asher had come out of his deep thinking, looking towards her as well. David smiled at her, venturing closer to her. He had been waiting for a long time. He was the only one to know how badly he wanted to see her in his house, but this situation was far from ideal. "How is Lily?" Asher asked. "She is doing much better. It was a little difficult, but she understands me now. Her lack of screaming means that she is no longer afraid of Leo. Hopefully soon she will be fully recovered, but it will take time," Victoria replied, smiling and completely ignoring the person standing in front of her, who was looking forward to when she would look at him and smile in the same way. David's eyes scanned over her, until they met with her injured hand. "Victoria, your hand," David worried about to inquire about the injury to her hand, but before he could, Victoria interrupted him. "How is Bella?" Victoria asked Asher. Asher looked at David's sad expression. With a long face, David stood in the corner of the room as she was not paying attention to him, nor was she letting him talk to her. He was invisible to her. "Asher's P.O.V. Ever since I brought her here, she has been sleeping. She has not opened her eyes even once." I told Victoria, but then looked up to the room in which Bella was sleeping. There was some kind of commotion in the room. I quickly realized that she had woken up. That was the moment that we began to hear Bella sobbing. She was crying so badly that we could all hear her. Victoria noticed that I was about to go up the stairs quickly to Bella's room. "Please do not go in there to her right now. There was a big incident with her, and after this she will be scared of each man she sees, just like Lily was nervous. I would like you to give me a chance to speak with her," Victoria kindly requested as she talked to me. She was looking at my expression and could probably tell that I was not ready to accept the request. However, after experiencing Lily's condition firsthand, I just backed up without saying anything. Once again moving to the sofa and taking a seat. My eyes were fixed on the stairs that could lead me towards Bella's room. Victoria began to walk towards the room as David came over to me. We were both sitting there and it was now just past 2 in the morning. At the moment my phone started to ring. It was a call from my father, Alpha Gabriel. As I was about to pick up my phone, I saw Victoria running down the stairs frightened. Instead of picking up the phone, I threw it onto the couch and stood up. "What's wrong?" I asked, sounding dangerous but trying not to jump to the conclusion that it was bad news. "I am sorry, but I think something is wrong. She has locked herself in the room and I am not able to hear her crying anymore," Victoria explained. Whatever her concern was, I heard it loud and clear and I immediately ran towards the room full of anger and aggression. I knew I should have gone to her right away when I heard her sobbing. I reached the door in a matter of seconds. I tried to open the door, but it really was locked. "Bella! Open the door! I shouted, slamming my hand angrily into the door. It's me, Asher. Open the door and let me in. I shouted, again slamming my hand on the door 2 more times. Victoria and David were standing behind me. I could sense that they were getting scared at seeing me lose control like this. She was not opening the door and it was only making my anger increase, as my thoughts were running wild. Leo's P.O.V. This is the last warning. If you don't open this door I will break it down. Asher shouted. It was so loud that both Lily and I could hear it. What's wrong? Why is Asher shouting like a crazy person? Why is he calling Bella's name? Lily asked. I was still sitting at a distance away from her. I tried to mind link David, but he was not answering me. Bella, something happened to Bella, Lily panicked. Saying this she tried to get up from the bed to go see Bella, but I stopped her. No, you should not get up. I will go and check. Don't move, I insisted, not forgetting to leave the door open of her room as I left so that she wouldn't get scared. Asher's P.O.V. I was constantly banging on the door, but just as I was about to kick down the door we heard the sound of glass breaking and I froze. What was that sound? Victoria asked, alarmed. I think she broke the glass and jumped out of the window, David replied, looking at my furious face. As soon as David said that I ran out of the house, swiftly locating Bella running barefoot from the back of the house. What? This girl never listens to me. I grumbled to myself as I ran after her, using my wolf speed. I looked at where she was heading and took another way in order to head her off. It was after 2 in the morning. The world seemed to be oozing darkness and here Bella was crying and trying to escape down this unknown street. I watched as Bella realized that she was near the main road, so that she could easily get away using a taxi. However, before she could get close enough I wrapped my arm around her waist and pulled her back against my chest, making her scream out loud in panic. Let me go! She shouted. I put my hand over my mouth to quiet her screaming as it was dead silent here and the noise was echoing off the surrounding buildings. "Shhh, it's me," I whispered in her ear. Even after looking at my face she still hadn't stopped wriggling. There were so many cars coming towards us that I had no choice but to get her out of here. So I threw her over my shoulder, then using my wolf speed reached David's bungalow in a few short minutes. I saw that Leo, David, and Victoria were standing by the front door waiting, but as soon as they saw me carrying Bella over my shoulder they cleared a path for me. She was shouting and throwing her feet in the air trying to get out of my hold, using her small fists to bang on my back. Unluckily for her nothing was going to stop me from bringing her inside and back up to the same room she had occupied earlier. I kicked the door open and locked it behind me as she again tried to wriggle free. I put her down on the floor, but just as I did she ran towards the door and I pulled her back. Let me go! Bella shouted. I pulled her back towards me. Where will you go? Why are you running away from me? I asked. Bella looked horrified. I want to go back to my home. What is this place? Why did you bring me here? Why did you kidnap me? Bella screamed at me. I held her even tighter. This is David's home and I definitely haven't kidnapped you, I replied, trying to explain it to her but she again burst into tears. No, please let me go. I know you have kidnapped me. Who is David? Who are you? Bella asked. I was shocked by her words. She didn't recognize me. Why? Was it due to the current of that stun gun she was hit with? It's me, Asher, I responded, but she was not ready to listen to me. She stopped wriggling and she looked really dizzy. I held her tightly but could not understand what was happening to her. She tried to escape from here thinking that I had kidnapped her. She was not able to recognize me. A quick wave of fury rose in my blood to think that she had forgotten me and I was not ready to accept it. "AAA," Bella moaned in pain, as she felt the burn on her chest and tried to open her eyes again. She was still in my hold. As she opened her eyes seeing me her eyes widened and she screamed in fear. "Let me go!" Bella shouted again, pushing me away with her full strength. I saw her getting away from me and holding her clothes tightly. "Bella," I said, walking over to her. She fell on the floor. "Please, let me go. Don't touch me," Bella begged, sobbing, holding her top. I stopped as I now understood that she was thinking I am Oliver. Something had happened to her mind. She was not able to recognize me. "Bella. I'm Asher. Look at me," I said, getting closer to her as she shook her head. She then grabbed a piece of broken glass from the floor and pointed it towards me. "I will kill you if you come any closer to me," Bella shouted, but I didn't stop. "Put that down now," I stressed. Bella's hand trembled to see me coming closer. I was not afraid of dying, but then she put the glass near her wrist. "I will kill myself if you touch me," Bella threatened. I stopped in my tracks. She was not serious, was she? She was really going to hurt herself. Bella's P.O.V. "I will not touch you." "I am going," he said, backing away from me, but I was still not letting the glass go out of fear. He turned to leave the room and I got up from the floor. As he walked out I looked at the same window where I had run from before. Suddenly I saw the door open again. In a split second the glass was thrown from my hand and I was in his hold. I again screamed in fear, but this time he blocked my mouth with his. My eyes widened as I stopped breathing for a few seconds. My kidnapper was kissing me. While crying I tried to push him away, but only got pushed up against the wall. He pinned both my hands over my head tightly, rubbing his body against me. As he did this I stopped wriggling as the same memory hit my mind when he did this to me before. Asher opened his blue eyes, staring deep into her eyes. Ross connected with Lena and tried to calm her down. "Look at me, look into my eyes," Asher pleaded, slowly breaking the kiss. "This is me, your alpha, Asher," he whispered, again rubbing against my body, and I was remembering everything again. Asher had saved me from Oliver. He was standing in front of me, not Oliver. Again the memory of assault hit my mind and I sobbed again. When I was not in any condition to protect myself. Asher let go of my hands slowly as he understood I had recognized him. Pulling me in a hug and wrapping my small body completely into his. "It's okay, nothing happened, I am here, you are safe," Asher comforted me. I was crying loudly, burying my face into his chest. Asher's P.O.V. I did not ask her to stop crying, but let her cry as much as she needed. After a few minutes she stopped. When I looked down at her she had closed her eyes. She must have exhausted herself and fallen asleep in my hold. Scooping her up in my arms I laid her in the bed. Finally she remembered me and came back to her right mind. She understood I would not do anything wrong to her like Oliver had. She was again clutching my shirt like she had earlier. My eyes went to her innocent face and pink lips, but this time I did not stop myself and kissed her even though she was sleeping. As Bella felt my kiss, she slightly opened her eyes, catching me kissing her. Her wolf was recognizing mine and this kiss was helping to calm her, not afraid from my touch. She again closed her eyes, feeling my deep kiss. Bella's p.o.v. It was morning, the sound of the twittering of birds filled my ears. I moved a little on my cozy bed, the warmth that was on my chest felt like heaven. It was like this warmth was coming from someone. The addictive smell and warmth was making my morning. I slowly opened my eyes to pinpoint the source of these things to find Asher's sleeping face coming into focus in front of my eyes. "Asher," I mumbled, shivering a little as a man was close to me. Oliver's image again hit my mind hard, causing me to close my eyes in fear. I wanted to get away from Asher right now, but he moved a little, pulling me closer to him. As he did this, all the fear disappeared from my heart as I once again remembered that he would not harm me. He was not Oliver. He was the one who had saved me. He was in the bed with me, I was in his possessive hold, his hands had pulled me so close to him that our chests were touching each other. I once again felt him rubbing his body against me. He was the source of this warmth and that delicious smell, citrus and sage. This was the first time that I was watching him sleeping. He was not being a dominating alpha right now. He was someone that only I got to see. My heart was beating fast to see his face that looked so innocent and handsome. My hand reached towards him as I touched his long beautiful eyelashes softly only one time as my eyes went to his beautiful lips that had touched mine so many times. Yesterday, thanks to his kiss, I was able to fight my fear. I was able to recognize him. "If you are trying to seduce me, then you have definitely succeeded," Asher murmured. I watched his lips parting as he spoke. I was startled a little when he opened his eyes, looking into my own dark ones. It means he had not been sleeping. It was so embarrassing. Because of my actions he was feeling seduced as he felt my every touch. "I am sorry," I quickly stammered, removing my hand trying to get up, but I was flipped onto my back on the bed and was now pinned under Asher's body. "Where are you going after seducing me?" Asher asked, again touching me. I got worried and wriggled in his hold. I was still scared of being touched. I said, "I am sorry. I didn't do it intentionally. Please let me go," I begged, and Asher held me more tightly to stop my movement. "Don't act like a scared kitten. It does not suit your personality," he whispered. After saying that, he stopped my trembling. He unhooked my top and was about to remove it. "No, don't do," I whimpered, taking a deep breath as Asher looked into my eyes. Yesterday's incident had badly scared me. Why is he doing this when he knows I am getting scared? "You know I will not harm you, so don't move," Asher ordered, looking into my eyes. He moved the cloth a little to see the burn mark on my chest. He touched the place gently. I closed my eyes as I was still feeling pain. I was not able to recover quickly. Asher was only looking at me as I was controlling my painful moan. He leaned down to my chest and kissed the burning mark, making me open my eyes, raising my chest and moaned loudly. I was feeling a spark all over my body. "Stop playing with me now," I groaned as Asher lifted his eyes gazing into my teary eyes. He was right. I am an orphan, and if I had disappeared from this world then no one would look for me. Doing this, you are only giving false hope to my wolf. Stop playing with me from now on. I have learned to live alone and will spend the rest of my life like this. Stop it right here. I beg you, I implored, closing my eyes as tears flowed out the corner of my eyes. At that moment I felt Asher's thumb wiping away my tears. No, he was wrong, Asher assured me, causing me to open my eyes. If you disappeared then I would find you at any cost, even if you were under the ground. From now on, start getting used to me as you are my lone wolf mate that I do not want, but I will never let you go. You will always have a bond with me. Forever, Asher declared. Third person P.O.V. In the morning Asher was coming out of Bella's room, while Leo left Lily's room on the other side, and David made his way out of his bedroom. Even though it was not planned they all met each other in the hallway, but when they looked at each other carefully they all saw that none of them had slept that night or showered that morning. Come on, follow me, there is another room we can use, David offered, scratching the back of his head as he looked at Asher and Leo. Asher and Leo followed David to the other side of the bungalow, opening a door to reveal another bedroom. There were many rooms in David's house. They walked into the room and Asher took his shirt off, throwing it onto the floor before striding right into the bathroom. He didn't bother to close the door behind him as usual, as only the audible noise in the room became the shower. At the same time David and Leo threw themselves down on the bed, closing their eyes and taking deep breaths. What's wrong, Leo? Asher asked from the bathroom. Leo took another deep breath before replying. My body is aching. I couldn't get a wink of sleep all night as I had to sleep on the sofa instead of the bed. I didn't dare to even ask if I could sleep on the bed with Lily because I knew very well what was going to happen if I did. She would have kicked me out of the room. Before today I have never slept on a couch, so I have a lot of pain in my back and neck. I was also watching Lily throughout the night, thinking that she would get up and leave like Luna tried to do. Leo frustratedly replied, and Asher chuckled slightly upon hearing Leo's wearisome story. My mate is not like your mate, she is naive and doesn't understand us, it make her do stupid things, Leo grumbled when he heard Asher's chuckle. Asher looked at himself in the mirror. Last night it hadn't been so easy to handle Bella. He didn't know how the current of that stun gun had affected her mind so badly that she had forgotten him, but thankfully he and his wolf had succeeded in making her remember. When he found out that his touch was helping her remember everything, he slept with her in the same bed, totally wrapping her little body with his so that she would get her memory back. Asher did not want Bella to wake up in the morning screaming and shouting once again, saying that he was her kidnapper and that he would do the same things to her that Oliver had. It made him feel so low when she thought of Oliver. Why are your eyes red? Your problem was not like ours, right? You must have been enjoying your night with Victoria in your cozy bed, Leo asked with closed eyes. Don't joke with me right now. I am seriously annoyed and angry. My situation was no better than yours, David groaned as Asher listened to both of them. She did not let me sleep with her in the bed like I was expecting to, with it being my first night in my room with her. When I tried to climb in the bed next to her, my face got slapped with a pillow that she threw at me, indicating that I am not invited to sleep with her. I was forced to sleep on the sofa that was too small for a person of my height. I could not find even the semblance of a comfortable position on that thing the entire night, David explained while Leo laughed at his tirade. Leo had to stop laughing when he heard an angry growl from David warning him not to continue harassing him right now. But I also noticed something else too, David again began. Like what? Leo asked. When she was sleeping, I went to walk onto the balcony of our room as sleep was in no way possible. That was when I saw that she had been receiving messages on her phone. I was confused as to who would message her at midnight. She was sleeping soundly. I just went close to her phone, it was placed on the table. I peeked at the screen without touching it and you know what? It was the message from that George. David growled in anger. Leo sat up on the bed hearing him, seeing Asher who was listening to everything leaning against the bathroom door frame wrapping a towel around his hugely built body. He had already finished a quick shower. So you're saying that George is still after Victoria knowing that you have mated and marked each other? Even though he understands that you two are mates? Leo asked David with a surprised look getting up from the bed, throwing his shirt off and entering the bathroom. Actually, I do not know the specifics as I only saw his name, I did not check Victoria's phone. If I check her phone it means I doubt her and I do not doubt her, but I do not trust in George's intentions. I very well know that he was her childhood boyfriend. When his mate died he was not upset, rather that evil jerk was happy as it meant he could get Victoria as a second chance mate, David told both of them. He got up from the bed walking over to a dresser and pulled out a pair of jeans and shirt for Asher. So what is your next move? Leo asked from the bathroom. I do not know, but I will really kill him this time if he tries to make a single move toward Victoria. David replied, sounding dead serious. A short time later Leo also came out of the bathroom. All three of them took showers and got ready while talking about so many things, when a delicious aroma hit their noses and made them look towards the open door of the room they were in. What a delicious smell! Leo said, and all the males' stomachs rumbled and growled due to hunger. None of them had eaten anything last night and now the scent of delicious food was making their mouths water. Let's go down, Asher recommended, getting up from the sofa and exiting the room as Leo and David quickly followed after him. Following the smell they reached the dining room, but there was no food placed there. The aromatic food was coming from the kitchen, making all the boys run towards there and peered inside. They blinked their eyes in disbelief as they all saw not only Victoria, but Lily and Bella were also in the kitchen, making food. Lily, can you pass me that bowl please? Victoria asked and Lily quickly tried to get everything off the shelf that Victoria had asked her for. On the other hand Bella was cutting onions and vegetables. Let's skip the onions in the food. I do not like them. Bella mentioned, earning Lily's and Victoria's narrowed eyes. Okay, just put in everything that you want. I will not say another word. Do you want me to cut up something else? Bella asked. Lily and Victoria laughed and all the girls were talking about different things and joking too. The three males were witnessing a totally different environment in the kitchen. Not depressing like last night, this was a major improvement. It must be Victoria's doing. She must have brought the girls out of their room to raise their spirits. Trust me, she will make them like they were before at any condition. She is very stubborn, David informed them with a proud smile. They could see he was really right. The girls were acting like they would before the incident and were enjoying cooking. These cupcakes will be enough for the three of us, right? Bella wondered, pulling a tray of cupcakes out of the oven and checking them to see if everything was cooked properly or not, but hearing her someone frowned. What do you mean by only the three of you, girls? Asher said, causing the girls to flinch. They all looked at the annoyed boys who had faces that said they were the victims while the girls were their exploiters. What are you all doing here? Victoria asked, looking at David's upset eyes. Why is the food you girls are making only for you three? Did you not know we were also here, hungry and almost dying? David inquired, making a sad face. Victoria rolled her eyes without giving him any reply. She again went back to doing her portion of the cooking. And why did you pull out only 3 plates? Leo asked, pulling another 3 plates out and putting them in Lily's hand. She was shocked to see his quickness. He did not forget to add 3 more spoons for boys. Do you understand? Leo asked again in a bossy tone with Lily. She narrowed her eyes at him. No, I don't understand. Lily replied, putting the 3 extra plates back onto the shelf that he had placed in her hands. Leo again took them back out and placed them in her hands. Your mate is hungry. You should also give him food. Now do you understand? Leo questioned, standing near the shelf so that she would not repeat putting them away again. Asher went to Bella to inspect the cupcakes that she had made. They were cute cupcakes and there were all different kinds. Coconut cupcakes with toasted coconut frosting. Dark chocolate cupcakes with peanut butter frosting and margarita cupcakes. Bella noticed his eyes on her cupcakes, but Asher looked at her and again gave her a cold look. I asked, why are these only for you three? Asher asked, poking her dark chocolate cupcakes. She slapped his hand away as he had an evil intention to destroy it as he was feeling offended because they were not for him. It was like if he did not get to eat them then he would not let anyone else have them either. Are you not rich? Then just go and eat from a restaurant or a big hotel. Why are you willing to eat something that is made by a lone wolf? Don't lower yourself to touch something made by me, Alpha, Bella commented, moving the cupcakes from in front of him. Her reply made his mouth shut. She was taunting him, using whatever he had said to her in the bed this morning. David and Leo came to Asher and watched the busy females who were fully absorbed in cooking. Lily was preparing bacon, eggs and cheese sandwiches. Bella was making bread pudding while Victoria was now putting everything in the bowl. The boys were standing in the corner of the kitchen, observing everything. Their eyes did not forget to make girls feel guilty that they were doing wrong by them. Suddenly, they noticed that the food was no longer only for 3 people, but it was more abundant, which meant that it was also for them. As Victoria put the pot beside her and was washing her hands, David jumped beside her. Let me help you, David offered, bringing the pot out of the kitchen and putting it on the dining table. Lily, Bella, let's go out, Victoria announced. Lily went to leave the kitchen holding some pots and plates. Leo snatched the plates from her, not forgetting to count to see if there were 6 or not. When he was satisfied, he walked out of there with an arrogant face that irritated her. Bella, Victoria called her again from the dining table. Yes, I will be there in a few minutes. Please don't bother to wait for me. You can start without me. Bella shouted back, as she knelt down opening the oven door. It was the last set of cupcakes that she was making that had just finished. She just needed to take them out. She was looking for gloves as the tray was too hot. "Move," Asher said, pulling it out on his own with his bare hands. "I can do it," Bella replied, reaching forward. Now it was Asher's turn to slap her hand. "Don't get burned again," Asher coolly stated. Bella looked down at her chest that was now recovering, but it was still hurting her. She got up from the floor and observed him once again poking the cupcakes like a small kid. As Asher saw her irritated face as he was playing with the cupcakes, he understood that she really likes to make them and it was not good to play with her favorite things. He pulled his hand back. Bella started to walk out of the kitchen towards the dining room. "So finally you came. Hurry up. I am so hungry," Leo prompted Asher as no one had started eating their food until both of them were there. "You all should have started eating," Bella and Asher both said together by chance while taking their seats. They both glanced at each other then promptly ignored each other. "How can we start without our Alpha and Luna?" David noted with a big smile. This was the first time someone had called Asher and Bella Alpha and Luna in front of both of them together. Bella looked at Asher, who was gauging her reaction. "How many times do I have to tell you? I am not your Luna. I will never be your Luna. Call me Bella," Bella snapped at David. He only smiled. Leo's and everyone's eyes went to Asher, who had nearly murdered his cheese sandwich with a fork and spoon in aggravation. Bella was the only one who was not looking at him. After this conversation, the rest of breakfast was peaceful and no one was talking with each other. All the males filled their stomachs with all the food. Asher went to call Alpha Gabriel as he was not able to talk to him last night. He was telling him about hunters and the situation in the pack. The principal was handling the situation there and in the school. Lily was in her room, while Leo was in the living room playing on his phone, laying on the sofa. David was inside the kitchen with Victoria. While talking on the phone, Asher went to the widow and saw Bella in the garden. She was watering the plants. Asher's eyes traveled to her back, then down to her round. She was wearing Victoria's clothes, which was giving him a good view of her curves. Her smooth legs went on for days. Unexpectedly, Asher began to imagine himself between her long legs. He felt hard and nearly dropped the phone from his hand. Asher was breathing hard and could not take his eyes away from her, only thinking about slaking his need for her. Leo felt arousal in the air and sat up on the sofa. He looked around only to see that Asher was there. He was the one who was aroused. He saw Asher shaking his head as if he was trying to stop his dirty, erotic thoughts. He cut the call and went into Bella's room, that was also his room for now. Leo got up from the sofa and went to the window to see what the reason for his sudden arousal was. He smirked evilly as he saw Bella. His eyes went to Asher's room, then went back to Bella. "Your phone," Victoria called, placing David's phone on the counter of the kitchen. Leo's mother was asking her about Bella and Lily as she could not come to meet both of them. She had called David's phone intentionally as she very well knew what was going on between the two of them. She was giving David an excuse to be closer to Victoria. "Okay," David responded, smiling, placing his phone in his pocket as he began to help Victoria with the dishes. She did not let Lily and Bella do the dishes. Victoria got a call on her phone. She pulled it out of her pocket. David was watching her face as she was reading the caller's name. With a blank expression she put her phone back into her pocket. David did not know why, but he felt as if it was from George. One after another she received more than 5 calls on her phone. As it rang again and again, David's patience was running out and his anger was flaring up. His composure broke as he tugged her towards him and pulled out her phone from her pocket. Victoria was startled by his sudden actions and saw him reading George's name on her phone with fury in his eyes, as he answered the call. "What do you want with my mate? Why are you messaging and calling her?" David barked as his eyes turned black. Victoria shivered in fear at seeing his anger as she was already in his hold. "Just do it one more time and I will show you what hell really is," David yelled, ending the call and blocking George's number. Victoria saw he also took out her SIM from her phone and put the phone back in her pocket. "You will get a new SIM in the next 1 hour, he demanded, not looking at her, then softly letting go of her waist, walking out of the kitchen with long strides. Victoria blinked her eyes as she was still not sure what had exactly happened here, but a smile came to her lips when she saw this side of David. A possessive side. Her wolf was jumping in her mind. Asher, David, and Leo had gone to the pack to meet with Alpha Gabriel in the afternoon, while Victoria was on the other side with Lily and Bella. In the afternoon they had nothing to do, and at the same time Lily and Bella wanted to go back to their house. Victoria was nervous after listening to both of them. "It seems to me that both of you really want me to die," Victoria told the two, putting on her seatbelt and taking a long breath. The 3 girls were going to the mall to pass the time. "Why? What happened?" Bella asks and Victoria starts driving. "If Alpha and Beta came to know that in the absence of the 2 of them, I let both of you go back to your house, not only would Alpha, Asher and Leo, but David would also get angry with me. At the same time I am not in a position to bear the wrath of Alpha," Victoria replied, explaining everything to Bella and Lily. After hearing all this, both of them could not in good faith ask her to take them home again, as this would have put Victoria in trouble. "Why does he even care?" Bella mumbled to herself. The car was moving towards the mall and Bella was looking out the window. Even though Asher was not here with her, she felt as if he had left a bodyguard with her in the form of Victoria. After going to the mall, doing a lot of shopping and eating ice cream, the girls returned home finding David's car parked outside the house. The boys had returned. "Why don't we all have dinner, then let's watch a movie after that," Victoria suggested, which made both Lily and Bella jump with joy. "Yes, of course. Let's quickly cook and then after dinner we will all watch a movie," Lily replied with excitement and Bella immediately nodded. She had already thought about what to cook, but as the girls entered the dining room, the boys were already seated there with delicious food. The girls looked on in shock. "All of you must be hungry, so when we were returning, we bought food from the hotel so that there would be no need to cook. Come quickly or the food will be cold. We have been waiting for all of you for the last half an hour," David clarified with a big smile. The girls took their seats looking at each other. What was this sudden change in this boy's behavior? The girls all thought as they all began to eat. "I do not like romantic movies," Asher informed out of nowhere, causing Bella to look at him. "What? Movie? Why was he talking about movies suddenly?" she thought, and David stopped eating as he had heard him. "But romantic stories are best, guys, and not only romantic, it should also be erotic, steamy story or it is not any fun." David commented as Leo looked at both of them. I am okay with anything. How about 50 Shades of Grey? Leo suggested. The girls were staring at all the males like they had gone stupid. How did they know about that movie? Had they heard their conversation? The most important question was when had they invited themselves to watch a movie with them? They found out their answer when the males were sitting between them in the living room, watching movies shamelessly without any invitation. They were all unwanted guests. They had just invited themselves. David and Victoria were sitting on one sofa, taking advantage of the situation. He had wrapped his arm around her waist and was not letting her move away from him. Lily was forced to sit beside Leo as he again tried to teach her that she should not sit with anyone else, only with her mate. She felt like she was taking mate initiation classes from him. He was sitting incredibly close to her and more than watching what was happening on screen, his eyes were fixed on her expressions, which were changing according to the scene that was happening in the movie. Everyone was enjoying the romantic movie. Bella roamed her eyes around the room to check on the others. They all were sitting far away from each other on separate sofas so nothing could be made out clearly as it was dark, but one thing was apparent, that everyone was enjoying this moment. Bella glanced at David and Victoria. They both looked beautiful together. Even though Victoria was angry with him, she hadn't even realized that at this moment she forgot about it. With a little smile, Bella's eyes were again fixed on the movie. She was glad that they had decided against 50 Shades of Grey on the TV, as it was embarrassing to watch this kind of movie with boys. Boys are really shameless. How could they even mention that kind of movie when females were listening to them? Bella had no other option, as she felt trapped when she was sitting beside Asher, who was completely acting like a psycho. She felt that Leo had intentionally not sat with his alpha to trap her with him. He was not even pretending to watch the movie, but instead had completely turned his eyes towards her, only observing her. She had tolerated him doing this for more than 5 minutes when finally she broke her silence. Why can't you bother to look at the TV screen and not to my face? Bella asked. Asher just moved closer to her, taking her hand that had a cupcake and bringing it to his mouth. I do not like romantic movies, Asher whispered, chewing the bite he took of Bella's half-eaten cupcake. Her eyes were fixed on his lips that had licked the crumbs away softly. She swallowed hard when she saw him doing these seductive things. There were more than 6 cupcakes placed in front of him, but he was eating hers. What? You want it back? Asher asked, taking another bite as she quickly avoided her eyes before he licked his lips again. No, I do not want it, Bella replied, giving her cupcake to him without an argument. It was not the time or place to argue with him. The sofa was big, but he was sitting so close. Half an hour had passed when David and Victoria went to their room. Something fell near Leo's feet. When he looked down to see what it was, he saw the cupcake that had fallen from Lily's hand. He studied her. She was already sound asleep. He mind-linked Asher, saying good night without disturbing Lily, talking her back to her room. Now only Asher and Bella remained still watching the movie. Asher had said he doesn't like romantic movies, but he was also doing everything with Bella. After 10 minutes a scene came on where the male and female lead were breaking up with each other. Bella's eyes were ravenously attached to the scene. Asher felt her emotions going up and down as well as her heartbeat. Now I do not want you, the male lead of the movie said. Bella's heartbeat, which was beating fast, suddenly leveled out back to normal. It was the same when Asher had told her that he did not want her because she was a lone wolf. Asher looked at her face and saw that she was watching the movie emotionlessly. The female lead was begging him not to leave her while she was crying like crazy. It was pathetic. She should stop, Bella suddenly said, grabbing the remote, but Asher stopped her hand before she switched off the TV. Why should she stop? Asher asked. Bella looked at him. If he does not want her, then she should also not desire him. It will only give her pain in the end, Bella answered matter-of-factly. Asher saw she wasn't talking about the movie, she was referring to their situation. Her heart was in pain as she was discussing it. Switching off the TV as she got up to leave, Asher held her hand. Getting up from the sofa, he pulled her back and Bella moaned in pain the agony she felt in her chest. She should not give up, Asher murmured. Bella gazed up at him. So you want her to end up pathetically longing after an unrequited love? Bella asked. She should change the way she is seeing him, find out the reason behind his actions. Maybe he is also broken like her, Asher replied. Bella's P.O.V. After what happened with Asher while watching the movie, Lily and I stayed at Victoria and David's home for only one day. Victoria insisted that neither of us needed to go, but both of us wanted to go back to our own homes. I didn't give a talk about the irritated glare that Asher was giving me when I was leaving their home. Does he seriously think that I was as shameless as he was to stay at their house forever? I was petrified about going back home, but I had decided to kick my fear out of my mind, as living alone without anyone has always been my way of life. I went back with Lily to her house. When she walked in, she was really nervous, but I was there to help her through it. She had endeavored to enter this house that held so many horrific memories for her. I couldn't help but spend about 2 hours with her, just trying to keep her calm and make her feel normal. We acted like everything was normal and didn't talk about that incident with Oliver ever. It had now been a week since that day, and we both spent the entire 7 days either working in the shop or taking exams at school. The exams had been continuously going on for the last week, and I was in rough shape trying to juggle studying for all the different exams in the various subjects I was taking. There was only 1 month left until the school year ended, and the whole school was involved in taking examinations, but while working at the shop I had to also pay full attention to my studies. Lily and I walked into the canteen as soon as we left the classroom after our last test of today had finished. "How was your test?" Lily asked, placing my favorite Sprite in front of me. This time the test was good compared to the others. I hope this will help to increase my grade. "How was your test?" I replied, drinking my cold Sprite, while Lily took a drink of her Coca-Cola. "My tests could have gone better, so hopefully we will also do well in the main exam," Lily answered, and both of us nodded. This year hadn't been easy for me, especially with it being a new school, but I couldn't believe that the school year was going to end in a month. "Finally, today I will be able to sleep comfortably," Lily proclaimed with a yawn. "Yes, both of you are in dire need of rest," Victoria commented, walking over to us with a big box of pizza in her hands. "Hey, I haven't seen you this week. How are you?" I asked Victoria, smiling widely at her. Victoria placed the pizza box in front of us and opened it, gesturing for us to eat. I was thrilled beyond words that she had brought pizza, as both Lily and I were starving. "I am good, thank you. While you guys have been busy with your exams, I have been busy with my coaching. Soon the girls' team will play at the National Football Championship, but I am glad that I finally got a chance to see both of you today. Victoria explained everything she had been doing. I was enjoying my Sprite. After taking a few more sips, I reached for a slice of pizza just as Leo and Asher walked into the canteen. It wasn't only the juniors that were taking their tests, the seniors were as well. The examinations were going on simultaneously in the school, then their sessions were also going to end. For the past week, since the day of the romantic movie, I hadn't seen him until today, but his scent was always nearby, not only in the canteen, lab, and library, but everywhere in the whole school. It was like even though he wasn't visible, he was always with me every moment of the school day. Oh my goddess! Finally I get to see him today! Lena shouted in my head, getting active by jumping around in my mind. Lena was very happy as our eyes clashed from across the room. I was trying to control her by calming her down, but she wasn't listening to me. I had tried to make it so that Asher's wolf wouldn't be able to contact Lena, even though I knew it was impossible to do. Whatever had happened between the two of us in that room that day when he forced me into a kiss to make me remember, when he kissed me when I was asleep, when we shared the bed, had caused everything to change between us. His wolf had made Lena crazy as he had connected with her. She was dying to see him today. As mine and Asher's eyes continued to connect, the rhythm of my heart proceeded to escalate. I could not help but remember the day he had seen me without my top on and how he kissed my chest. Suddenly, I felt too hot, like I was on fire. I quickly looked away from him, taking a bite of my pizza. Alpha is here, Victoria acknowledged, bowing her head slightly to him with a smile, but as always Asher did not show any reaction. Hey girls, David said as he entered the canteen with a big smile, sitting beside Victoria. We smiled at him and he had a paper in his hand. Hey, what are you doing here? I asked as he brushed back his hair from handsome face as usual. I wanted to see someone special, David replied, looking at Victoria, who stopped eating her pizza as she listened to him. Lily and I looked at David and Victoria smiling. He was flirting with his own mate. Victoria noticed us smiling, so she once again concentrated on her pizza. I also took a little bite with a smile. It seemed David was trying his best to win her heart back. Asher. Leo. Please come over here, David called them. The pizza unexpectedly got stuck in my throat. Why was he calling him over here? I thought as I saw him approaching me. Why was he moving closer to me? I quickly noticed the available seats around me. Was he planning to sit next to me? I thought, but it was too late as he had already sat there. What the? Why does he need to sit here? I thought about going to sit beside Lily as there was one empty seat available, but it was also captured by Leo. I saw Lily's face, which looked similar to mine. What? Asher asked David in a normal tone that also sounded rude. Okay, I have called you boys and girls here so that I can confirm that you all are coming on tomorrow's school trip. I need to send this list to the vice principal, David asked. It was a 2-day trip. They were taking us to a beautiful place that was in the woods. It was supposed to be one of the most peaceful places where my wolf wanted to come out and enjoy nature. Everyone said yes, but I did not. I just took a deep breath and started to eat my pizza again. Luna. I mean Bella. Why are you not saying anything? Will you not come? David inquired, raising his brow and looking unsure. Sorry, I will not join you guys, I admitted, smiling apologetically at him. Lily and Victoria already knew about it as I had already told them, but David had not known. But why? Let's go together. It will be fun. After all these tests and work, you also need some relaxation and fun, David coaxed with excitement. Victoria also agreed with him. I did not say a word to them. I felt Asher's eyes on me. He had been watching me for a long time when I refused to go on the trip. It felt as if he was asking me for a reason. I could sense the frustration in his heart as I was not saying anything. Actually, I have never been to the woods before, I replied. They all looked shocked. What? You have never gone to the woods? Victoria asked. I felt embarrassed when I nodded. Yes. I replied with a little smile. Why? Leo asked. I glanced at him. It was surprising that he was talking to me. He normally only talks to his Alpha and David. My mom always told me I should never go into the woods. It was dangerous for me. I should only live in the city. The woods are not for me, I replied, and upon hearing me everyone looked at each other. I know they are finding what I had said weird. I could not do anything about it as I grew up like that. I just lowered my eyes and looked at the pizza that was in my hand. Even though I was a werewolf, I was not like them. I could not be like them. Mom had said to never go in the woods until the day I had found my mate, and then I could go in there with him, but the thing was, having a mate was not like what my mom had said. I had also dreamed of going into the woods with my mate, but she is coming, Asher abruptly declared, which made my head snap up as I stared at him. He was looking right into my eyes. What? Did he again get an attack of insanity? He took my half-eaten pizza from my hand. No, correction, he actually just snatched it. Wow! That's great! Then we all are going, David smiled, gleefully writing my name down. I tried to stop him, but he did not listen to me as his Alpha had already made the decision on my behalf. Everyone looked happy, including Victoria and Lily. I never said yes, I objected, glaring at Asher. That was the moment he decided to move closer to me, making my heartbeat go crazy due to his proximity. His thumb rubbed my lower lips, wiping it softly. You are coming, Bella. Asher softly murmured. I felt my heart skip a bit when he said my name. What was wrong with his voice? Why was he behaving like this? I watched him take a bite of my pizza, while seductively looking into my eyes. I swallowed hard to see him giving me those looks. Excuse me, I muttered, getting up from the table, trying not to show that his touch had affected me like all hell. My body felt too hot, like that day when I had to run into the locker room and I had to sit under the shower. What was happening to me? I didn't know why he was looking at me with those blue eyes like he wanted me. It was affecting Lena and I, but I knew that it cannot be true. He doesn't want me. I should just not let him play with me. I should also stop my physical reaction to his touch. My whole body was again going back to normal slowly as I stopped thinking about him. The day passed by quickly and I was already in the store working, but today I was so tired. I just wanted to go home, but I knew that I had no choice but to go to work. Lily and Victoria were jumping in front of me all the time as they were happy now that we will all be going together. At the same time I still had to pack my stuff to get ready for the trip. I had not had time to pack anything. Tiredness and frustration mixed inside me and I was getting angry at myself. "Bella," a man called, placing his hand on my shoulder. "What?" I shouted, annoyed. The manager jumped in shock at my shout. I quickly changed my facial expression, controlling my tongue. "I am really sorry. I should not have shouted at you," I quickly apologized. He smiled a little. "No problem, Bella, but I want to tell you something," he replied. I was looking at him. "Yes, okay," I said with a smile. "Actually this afternoon a man came into the shop asking for you. He told me that he was your uncle. I told him that you only work on morning and night shifts. He was okay with it, but he took your scarf that you forgot yesterday, saying that he would give it back to you," the manager informed me, but I was totally confused. "What? He said he was my uncle?" I asked again, thinking I had misheard. "Yes," the manager replied. I just nodded. I got back to work, but could not get these thoughts out of my mind. Who was that man who was calling himself my uncle? I did not have an uncle. I did not have any relatives, so who was this man? Why did he take my scarf with him? Was he a psycho? That was when I felt someone's eyes on me, like I was being watched. I turned to face the window and got closer so that I could look through it. It was pitch black outside, but on the other side of the street something had caught my eye. I gasped when I saw two eyes that were looking right at me. It was a wolf. Who would shift in an urban area? He was watching me as if he was challenging me or something. My fear increased as I looked at his eyes. He must be an alpha, yes. He was an alpha, but why was he looking at me like that? Why me? "Bella!" Lily called and I flinched a little. "Hey, what's wrong? Why did you flinch? Why are you sweating so much?" Lily asked. I again peered out of the window towards the darkness where I saw those two eyes, but the wolf had vanished. I tried to look more closely, but it really had vanished. What was happening? Was it all in my imagination? Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.